make a difference.
I'm proud to be part of something larger than me and to serve my country.
We celebrate those who have served and those who are proudly serving in the Air Force Reserve. Our mission is to fly, fight, and win in air, space, and cyberspace.
I'm proud to be an I'm proud to protect.
Proud to serve in the U.S. Air Force Reserve.
Tune in for Weekend Talk That Matters, only on KFNX.
And now, live from the KFNX studios in beautiful downtown Phoenix, it's Pain Management Arizona with Bob Miller. Good morning. I am Bob Miller. I am a licensed massage therapist and trigger point specialist. That's something very hard to find these days, which I still have not found anybody that can work trigger point like I do, because I have found that trigger point is the most effective way to relieve a lot of the pains that people are getting. And people go to their doctor, they get put on pills, they get sent to specialists and neurologists and still suffer with the same problems. And I have found that gentle trigger point therapy can release the knots that are in the muscle that are pressing on the nerves that are giving you the migraine headaches, regular headaches, back pain, upper back, lower back, hip pain, shoulder pain. The list goes on and on. And I do have two offices right here in the Valley. I have one in Peoria. It's at 94th Drive in Thunderbird, right off the 101 freeway out in the avenues, and another one right here in Central Phoenix on 7th Street, just between Thomas and McDowell. And I only do charge $60 an hour for a therapeutic massage session, and which that's about half of what those Massage Envy, Elements, Hand and Stone, all those places are charging for a regular Swedish massage. You know, don't get me wrong, Swedish massage is good for you, great for the body, relaxing and all that. But if you have, serious pain issues that you really want to go away, give me a call. You can call me at 541-END-PAIN. Or go to my website, which is painmanagementarizona.com. Again, that's painmanagementarizona.com. Or call 541-END-PAIN to book an appointment with me. And like I mentioned, what I do is trigger point therapy. What a trigger point is a trigger point is a knot in the muscle that is bothering a nerve. Muscles are made up of fibers. Like when you tear apart a piece of chicken, it comes apart in these little tiny strings. Those are muscle fibers. And when a muscle is held tight long periods of time, over tightened suddenly, or impacted, some of the fibers get stuck in the tight position. And then the muscle is no longer able to relax, go back to its, fully relaxed position, because there's some of the fibers are stuck. And then other healthy fibers that are connected to the ones that are stuck, they start getting stuck too, because they can't move either. And it stops blood flow, because blood can't flow through a tight muscle. It has to be relaxed for blood to flow out. So it's not able to wash out the acetylcholine that's in the blood in that part of the muscle, which is the chemical that's telling it to stay flexed. And the nerves run in and out of the muscles and around the muscles. And so when you get one of these knots right up against the nerve, it's going to either block signals or send extra information up or down that nerve, either up to your brain or down to your muscle, which the brain doesn't understand what this new added part of the signal is. So it kind of panics and tells you it's pain, because it's your brain's trying to protect you and make sure you protect your body. So if you're, getting numbness or tingling in your fingers a lot, normally, people go run to the doctor. The doctors tell them they have carpal tunnel syndrome, and they say, oh, you need surgery. Most of the time, it's not going to be carpal tunnel syndrome. You won't need surgery. Most of the time, it's knots in the side of your neck, which are on the nerves that go down to your fingertips. And I have a very gentle, passive technique. During the massage, we find where all these knots are and gently release them. Pressure's off the nerve. The tingling in the fingers goes away. Pain in the wrist goes away. Headaches go away. Back pain, everything. It's just really, really amazing. And unfortunately, doctors just don't really understand how this works, because it doesn't show up on x-rays. It doesn't show up on MRIs, because it's just muscle tissue. The only way to find it and release it is with manual manipulation. Massage techniques, specialized techniques. You have to be able to know how to feel for these knots in the muscle. I mean, you can feel the big clusters of knots yourself if you put your hand on your shoulder, put the hand on the side of your neck and start, moving your hand up and down along the muscle. You'll feel hard spots, bumpy spots. Those are knots in the muscle. You may be getting no problems from them because if the knots in the muscle are not directly on the nerve, it's not going to give you pain, but it is going to be restricting some of your movement. It may not be as comfortable to turn your head to one side or the other or look up or down. And that's where I come in. I know where I've read the instruction manual on people, and I know where the nerves are, the muscles are. I know which direction the fibers run. And when you come to me and you let me know what your problem you're having, whether it be limited range of motion or pain, I know where to start looking. I do a general warm up, which is similar to a Swedish massage, and then I start exploring the muscle areas. So, when I originally started doing this, it took me some time to find where the knots were. And now, as soon as I do a warm up on somebody, it's for me, it's like driving over speed bumps. I can feel every knot in your muscle, in your neck, and your shoulders, and your back, and I know exactly where these referral patterns go. Such as if you have low back pain, right in the center of your low back, very low back. That's not going to be where the problem is. The problem is going to be more towards the hip, under the gluteus maximus on the piriformis muscle, because it's the muscle that goes from the base of your spine to your hip bone. Is the sciatic nerve goes through, and when that muscle's getting pinched, it's going to cause low back pain or pain running down the back of your leg. And so I need to work that area. Just like I said with the hand, if you got tingling in your fingers of your hand, there's really nothing at all wrong with your hand. It's all in the side of your neck where the nerves are getting pinched off. If you have headaches, there's nothing wrong with your head. It's up in your your shoulders, between where your shoulder bends and the side of your neck, or in the neck muscles as well. And I know where these spots are. I know how to find them. I know how to gently release them. I have had 98% success rate completely eliminating migraines and headaches on people. I recently, a few months ago, went to the Barrows Neurological Institute, sat in on a conference they were having on headaches and migraines. Room full of medical doctors, and they had a bunch of speakers go up, and I talked to a few of them before they started, and they were telling me all these stories of people that get migraines 3 to 4 times a month, got 50% reduction in migraine days with this medication, and I'm like, wow, I don't use medications or injections, and I got 98% results with 100% really getting rid of migraines. And all they would talk about was migraines, the migraine medications, the dosages, nerve blocks, the trigger point injections, all these really invasive procedures. And it's just really not necessary. And from what I'm seeing, not helping people. Most all the people that I work on, they've had migraines for many years, often decades, and they have not been getting any help with the medications or having the back pain. I had one gentleman that had back pain for 40 years, low back pain for when he slipped at the mill, slid down the stairs on his back. He said he hadn't worked in the mill for 40 years, and he'd seen every kind of doctor, specialist, neurologist, everybody. And he had a 1-hour session with me on the table. I knew exactly where to look for the knots based on how he said his back pain felt. And when I got done, he was completely pain-free, and it was great. And that was the last time I saw him. He never had to come back. He didn't have back pain. That's one of the problems with what I do is I get a lot of people that are not going to be repeat business because I fix them. They're done. The medical world, kind of wants you to kind of stay sick or stay in pain. So you keep more office visits, more pills, more opioids. And my goal is to get you out of pain. And most of the time I could get it done in one session. Just had a gentleman yesterday came into my office. I looked at his paperwork, and he had been to see me once 6 months ago, that he had hip pain that from a car accident he had 16 years ago. And I worked on him for the 1 hour and didn't see him again for 6 months. And he came in and I asked him, did your hip start hurting again? And he said, no, I jumped over a wall and now my back hurts. And I said, well, how's your hip? And he said, it doesn't work. It doesn't hurt. It hasn't hurt since you worked on me. But now he did something else that he shouldn't have been doing and injured something new. And so he knew where to come to get the pain to go away. And it's a lot of fun, but definitely, most of my business comes from people who have experienced what I can do. They tell their family, their friends, their coworkers. Just like that interview I had last week with Nancy. She had her friend in from Colorado. She came to see me. I worked on some of her problems, got them to go away. Then she wanted me to work on the rest of her problems and came to see me the day before she left back for Colorado. And now my friend Nancy said that her friend's going to actually fly back down from Colorado just for an appointment with me because she can't find anybody that does this. It's very simple, very basic, very gentle. It's not like foo-foo massage. I hate, some of my friends hate me calling it foo-foo or nicey nice massage, but it's not the, relaxation massage where the lights are dimmed and it's quiet and there's a flower behind your ear. No hot stones, no aromatherapy. We have conversation. People bring their spouses, their children, they sit in the room too. And, we have conversation while we're doing it. We talk about, what we can do to not have you create this problem again. Because what I'm doing is a permanent fix. You get the knot to release, it is gone. It is no longer there. It is no longer bothering the nerve. But you can do the same type of behaviors. Like, if you're reading books a lot and staring down at the book instead of holding the book up or propping the book up so your head's a little straighter. The biggest offender is the cell phones because your head weighs 10 to 12 pounds. And when your head is straight, all the muscles around your neck and shoulders, all they got to do is balance your head so it doesn't flop over on you. Once you start looking down just a little bit, gravity is grabbing onto your face and trying to pull your head down. So all the muscles around your neck and shoulders start flexing to resist the pull of gravity to keep your head not from flopping all the way forward. And now with that tension, it's like your head weighs 27 pounds with the torque. And if you're looking way down at your phone or a book, holding it down by your chest, that's an extra 60 pounds of torque that your muscles are flexing to resist the pull of gravity. And, you're looking at Facebook, you're looking at texts, emails, maybe watching Netflix on your phone. You just spent quite a bit of time with your head in this downward position. And it's causing a lot of muscle fibers to get knotted up. And it's kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back type of concept. You can do something that's slightly uncomfortable and not have any lasting effects from it up to a point. And when you hit that point where the knot cluster gets big enough to where it's up against the nerve or wrapped around the nerve, then you got a problem. That's when you start having the kind of chronic pain type of feeling. And again, I have the 2 offices that you can come visit me at. The one is at the Sonoran Life Solutions counseling offices, and that's out in Peoria. That's at about 94th Drive and Thunderbird out in the avenues. It's just a 1 mile off of the 101 freeway. Nice, easy drive to get there. And the other one is at Urban Wellness, great wellness center right here in Phoenix. They have meditation classes, yoga classes, a bunch of holistic practitioners that do nutrition, acupuncture, chiropractic, just a whole bunch of people that have offices there as well. I'm only in Phoenix on Sundays between about 10 and 1 that I can do appointments because the Peoria location is so busy these days because of all the people listening and telling you, even if you don't have pain yourself, you probably know someone who does. And again, the contact information is all on my website. That's Pain Management Arizona, all the way spelled out, Arizona.com, painmanagementarizona.com. Or an easy phone number to reach me directly is 541 END PAIN, ENDPAIN, 541 END PAIN. Gets you directly to my phone. So if you have questions about your pain issues, you can call me anytime as well, or book an appointment directly with me. And I do see a lot of advertisements on TV. It's just really, It'll kind of make me angry that they're, what they do is they, they got the back and knee brace store, and they have these people. I mean, literally, these people look like they're people that are sitting in a casino that have already gambled away all their money. And they come up to them and they tell them, "Hey, you want to make $50? Read this on camera." And and it even says actor portrayal right at the bottom, because legally they're obligated to put actor portrayal for like 1.5 seconds, just to let people know that they're not actually trying to con them. But sure looks like they're trying to con them to me when the guy says, "Oh, I've had back pain for 30 years and I use this back brace and now I can win at the slot machines." But it's just kind of ridiculous, that they do that. And then and the all the advertisements for the opioids and the painkillers and the antidepressants on TV. It's like we're the only country that allows pharmaceutical companies to advertise to the general public, and it's really getting out of hand. The opioid crisis, in the last 10 years, the deaths by overdose are mostly due to opioids. The latest statistics they have for 2017 are almost 50,000 people died in 2017 of opioid related death. And these aren't people that are just out trying to get high. These are people that are being given these medications by their doctors without sufficient warnings or not the interactions. And the painkillers aren't doing anybody any good. I mean, yeah, they give you temporary relief from the pain, but if you get the knots out of the muscle, the pain goes away and you don't need the drugs and you're not going to die. the only the only side effect of massage is feeling good, being more relaxed, having more energy. There is no negative side effects, and it is very highly effective. And I guess the OxyContin, they're getting in trouble too, because because of money, people handing each other big bags of money. They changed the labeling on OxyContin with the scientific evidence showing whether it was safe for people to use, said only short-term temporary use. And then they handed the guys at the FDA a bunch of big bags of money, and they went ahead and changed the label to long-term round-the-clock use with no new scientific evidence. Guy Ed Williams, oh, I'm sorry, Ed Thompson, he was one of the manufacturers of OxyContin, and he actually grew a conscience and went on 60 Minutes and is exposing all this kind of corruption that's going on, because it's all about the money. If I'm not all about the money, I'm about helping people. If I was all about the money, I'd be charging those fast food chain and massage prices of $100 an hour. But again, I'm only $60 an hour because I get more out of just helping people, especially when they've suffered with pain for years, months, or decades, and not been getting the help. I've yeah, it's just really unbelievable, some of the stuff. I've even asked people, how much do you think your insurance is paid out on stuff, all the years you've been suffering with this? And it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, types of treatments and tests and specialists and neurologists and all these people, checking on them, and they're still not getting the relief from the pain. And then they come to me, and it's just real simple: an hour massage on the table, release all the knots, and pain's gone. Had one lady, I guess about 9 months ago now, she had had a daily headache for 18 years. 18 years, every day, all day, had a headache. And she came to me for a 1 hour session. I finished with her. She looked at me, her eyes were real big. I asked her, I said, "Kind of nice not to have a headache, isn't it?" And she said, "This is so weird. I forgot what it felt like for my head not to hurt." And, another lady, she was in a car accident when she was 11 years old. She was a passenger in a car and her head went through the windshield. And she had been getting migraines ever since. She's like in her mid 30s now. And the doctors were, doing everything, trying to figure out what kind of damage there was in her head causing the headaches. And they don't see the bigger picture. You got to kind of step back and look at the bigger picture. If you get a trauma to your head, you've also got a trauma to your neck. And that's where the nerves that run up into the head are getting bothered. And so you got to work on the neck. Not, the pain in the head is from the neck normally. It's not always in the head. And unfortunately, doctors misdiagnose a lot of conditions as being something they're not because of the limited stuff that they have. It's kind of that's one of the things that I was just talking to a friend of mine about was if you go to the doctor and you tell them you got symptoms A, B, and C, they're going to call it D, E, F, and they're going to prescribe X, Y, Z because that's what's been written down before them. That's what others have determined. So that's what they go by. They don't really get hands on with you and to say, hey, let's look at this. Let's try to find this. And it's kind of like, what I do is if you come in and give me symptoms, tell me what's going on with you. I get pictures of anatomy flashing in my head. I say, okay, where are the nerves? Where are the muscles? What kind of occupation do you have that might have strained these muscles? It's kind of like the dentist. You go to the dentist, you tell him you have a toothache. He doesn't just say, oh, this is what's wrong with you without looking in your mouth. They got to look in your mouth. They got to take x-rays. They got to see what's going on. And that's what I do. When you give me, I don't take x-rays or look in your mouth, but I do look at what muscle groups are bothering which nerves, then what is causing the pain. And it's generally, everybody's got the same muscles and the same nerve and generally the same area. So it's not hard for me to find out what's going on with you just by your symptoms. I can look at a lot of people and tell them what their symptoms are before they look at me. I went to the bank one day and went up to the teller and I was doing a transaction and I looked at her. I said, I bet you get headaches on the left side of your head right behind your eye, don't you? And she's like, looked at me and she goes, how could you possibly know that? And I said, I can tell by the way your computer's set up. You're standing at the teller, your computer's down and to the right. So you're staring down into your right for several hours of your day. And that's what's going to get that accessory nerve on the left side of your neck. And that's what's going to cause you headaches on that side of your head right behind your eye. And I handed her a card. And it's really easy. And that's another thing, like I mentioned, I talk to people about what they do, what their profession is, what kind of hobbies they may have, how much they watch TV, where the TV is in the room, because there's all these little things we can do that'll keep us from developing new knots and keep you healthy, keep you from being in pain. I know it's counterproductive for me because but I'm not gonna let somebody stay in pain just so I can get more appointments out of them. If I can get them out of pain in one session, I'm going to, because that's what I like to do. I like to help people. But again, I do have the 2 locations here in the Valley. There's one in Peoria. I do have appointments available 6 days a week there. That's on 94th Drive in Thunderbird out in Peoria at Sonoran Life Solution Counseling offices. And the other one I do on Sundays here in Phoenix, right there on 7th Street between Thomas and McDowell at Urban Wellness Center. Big green building right behind the Cocos there, or next to the Cocos and behind it. It's a nice big place. They actually have a new restaurant that's opening called City Farms. It's a plant-based restaurant and fresh farm to table. So as soon as I get more information on them, I will pass that along as well. And again, the price is only $60 an hour. And if you mention that you heard me on the radio, I'll give you an additional $10 off your first visit. So it'll only be $50 for your first visit. And we can get rid of all sorts of issues, headaches, migraines, back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, knee pain. I could sit here and list off problems people have all day long because there's so many of them. And most of them are very easy to correct. And like I said, it's very gentle, very passive, safe, natural. And again, the website is painmanagementarizona.com, or you can go to call 541-END-PAIN. That's 541-END-PAIN. We're just about to wrap it up, and I will be back with you here again next week, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. on 1100 KFNX. Again, one more time, that website is painmanagementarizona.com, painmanagementarizona.com, and the phone number is 541-END-PAIN, 541-END-PAIN. Hope to see you soon, get you living pain-free, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
The information and opinions you hear on this radio show are those of the host, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of KFNX, its affiliates, management, or advertisers. Visit us online at 1100KFNX.com. Arizona's only independent voice. Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
President Trump has tweeted that he could still impose tariffs on Mexico if it doesn't cooperate on border issues despite a new agreement.